At Willow Creek Middle School, lunchtime was the busiest part of the day. Students filled the cafeteria, laughing, chatting, and sharing stories. Among them was Chloe, the girl everyone knew. She had shiny blonde hair, designer clothes, and a confident smile that made it clear she belonged to the top of the social ladder. Chloe was popular, wealthy, and always quick to show it. She loved to make fun of anyone she thought was beneath her. One day, as Chloe walked to her usual table with her friends, she noticed Mr. Johnson, the school janitor, sitting alone at the edge of the cafeteria. He was a quiet man with kind eyes, always polite but never joining in with the students. Today, he was eating his lunch, a small plain meal packed in a worn-out lunchbox. It looked simple, nothing like the fancy food Chloe and her friends often bragged about. Chloe's eyes narrowed as she stared at the janitor's lunch. A sneer formed on her lips. Without thinking much, she leaned over to her friends and loudly said, "Is that all he eats? Looks like a snack for a toddler." Her voice echoed across the cafeteria, making heads turn. Some students giggled nervously, while others glanced away, uncomfortable. Mr. Johnson looked down, his smile fading. For Chloe, it was just another joke, but for those who saw it, the moment felt heavy, like there was more to Mr. Johnson's lunch than met the eye. Chloe's words hung in the air like a sharp arrow. "Is that all he eats? Looks like a snack for a toddler," she repeated, louder this time, making sure everyone heard. Her friends burst into laughter, their giggles ringing through the cafeteria. Chloe's eyes sparkled with cruel delight as she pointed at Mr. Johnson's lunch, a small sandwich wrapped in plain wax paper, an apple, and a carton of milk. Nothing fancy, nothing expensive. Some students joined in, snickering quietly, or whispering jokes under their breath. But many looked uncomfortable, casting quick glances at Mr. Johnson. They didn't join the teasing, but no one stopped Chloe either. The cafeteria buzzed with uneasy silence, broken only by Chloe's loud laughter and the chatter of her group. Mr. Johnson didn't say a word. He kept his head low, his eyes fixed on the table. Yet, if anyone looked closely, they could see the pain behind his calm expression. His lips pressed into a thin line, and a flicker of sadness flashed in his eyes, but he stayed silent, choosing to endure rather than respond. Meanwhile, Chloe felt a rush of power. She loved how the attention was on her, how she could make others laugh by putting someone else down. She didn't care about the hurt she caused. To her, this was just a game, a way to remind everyone who was on top. But across the room, a girl named Emily watched quietly. Emily wasn't part of Chloe's crowd. She was thoughtful and kind, someone who noticed things others missed. When she saw Mr. Johnson's sad smile fade, something inside her stirred. She wondered why a man who worked so hard would eat such a simple lunch. Was there a story behind it? Why did Chloe choose to mock him? Emily's curiosity grew with every passing moment. She decided she had to find out the truth. There was something about Mr. Johnson's lunch that wasn't as simple as it seemed, and Emily was determined to discover what it was. After school one chilly afternoon, Emily gathered her courage and walked slowly toward the janitor's closet where Mr. Johnson was finishing his work. The hallway was quiet now, the busy noise of students and teachers gone. Mr. Johnson was wiping down a window, his face tired but calm. "Hi, Mr. Johnson," Emily said softly. "Can I ask you something?" He looked up, surprised but kind. "Of course, Emily, what's on your mind?" Emily hesitated for a moment, then said, "I noticed your lunch the other day. I just wanted to know if everything is okay." It seemed very simple. Mr. Johnson's eyes flickered with a mix of surprise and something softer, relief maybe. He paused before answering, then nodded slowly. "It's not something I usually talk about," he said quietly. "But since you asked, I guess I can tell you a little." Emily smiled gently, encouraging him to continue. "My family, I lost them a few years ago in a car accident," he said, his voice shaking slightly. "It was sudden. My wife and my oldest son didn't make it. I'm left with my youngest sister. She's very sick, and I have to take care of her." Emily's heart tightened. "That must be so hard." "It is," Mr. Johnson agreed. "I work 2 jobs here at the school, and a night shift at a nearby store. The money is tight." Every penny I make goes toward her medicine and doctor visits. Emily listened carefully, eyes wide with sympathy. The lunch you saw, he continued, is something my sister made for me one day, when she was feeling better. It's simple, yes, but it's filled with love. Sometimes, when the days are tough, that little meal reminds me why I keep going. It's the best part of my day. Emily felt a lump in her throat. The plain sandwich and apple Chloe had mocked were not just food, they were a symbol of hope and love in a life filled with struggle. Thank you for telling me, Emily said softly. I'm sorry you have to carry so much. Mr. Johnson smiled faintly, a tear shining in his eye. It's okay, it means a lot that you wanted to understand. As Emily walked away, her thoughts swirled. She knew she had to do something. Chloe's joke wasn't just mean, it was cruel, and now, the truth behind that simple lunch made her want to stand up for Mr. Johnson more than ever. The cafeteria might never be the same. The next day at school, Emily found Chloe sitting with her usual group, laughing and scrolling through her phone. Emily took a deep breath and walked over. She knew this wasn't going to be easy. Chloe, Emily began carefully. I talked to Mr. Johnson yesterday. I learned something about his lunch. Chloe looked up, her smile faltering just a little. What do you mean? She asked, trying to sound uninterested. Emily explained quietly, but clearly. She told Chloe about the accident that took Mr. Johnson's family, about his sick sister, and how he worked 2 jobs just to pay for her medicine. She described how the simple lunch Chloe had mocked was made with love by his sister, a small comfort after long, hard days. Chloe's eyes widened. Her usual confident expression slipped, replaced by something heavier: guilt. She looked away quickly, biting her lip, trying to hide the feelings she didn't want to face. For the first time, Chloe felt a crack in her perfect world. Later, alone in the hallway, Chloe's mind drifted back to her own life. She remembered the fancy dinners at home, the expensive clothes, the endless parties where she was always the center of attention. She had never worried about money or illness or loss. Her biggest problems seemed small compared to what Mr. Johnson faced. A quiet sadness settled over her. During lunch, Chloe watched Mr. Johnson from across the cafeteria. He moved slowly, wiping tables and greeting students with a gentle smile. Despite the long hours and hard work, he never lost his kindness. She saw the exhaustion in his eyes, the way his shoulders slumped sometimes when no one was looking. Something inside Chloe shifted. But the question remained, would she admit she was wrong? Could she face her own pride and say sorry? The words felt heavy in her throat. The next moments could change everything. Would Chloe take the first step to make things right, or would she stay locked in her old ways? The cafeteria buzzed around her, but in Chloe's mind, a new story was beginning. A story of understanding, courage, and maybe even change. After a day of thinking, Chloe knew she couldn't ignore what she had learned. The guilt was too heavy, and the image of Mr. Johnson's tired but kind face stayed in her mind. She wanted to make things right. That afternoon, Chloe gathered her closest friends. At first, they were surprised when she told them she wanted to help Mr. Johnson and his sister. But Chloe was determined. Together, they decided to organize a small fundraiser at school, a bake sale, and a collection of donations from students and teachers. Chloe worked hard to spread the word, using her popularity to encourage others to join in. Slowly, students who had once ignored Mr. Johnson's struggles started to care. They baked cookies, made posters, and gave what they could. It wasn't much, but it was enough to make a difference. A few days later, Chloe found a quiet moment and went to find Mr. Johnson. Her heart was pounding. She held a small envelope filled with the money they had raised. Mr. Johnson, Chloe said, her voice soft but steady. I want to apologize for what I said about your lunch. I didn't understand before. I'm sorry. Mr. Johnson looked surprised, then his eyes grew wet. Thank you, Chloe, he said quietly. That means a lot. Chloe handed him the envelope. This is to help your sister. We all want to help. Mr. Johnson's hands trembled as he took the gift. I don't know what to say, he whispered. You have no idea how much this will help us. Your kindness, it's more than I ever expected. For the first time, Chloe saw something new in him, not just the tired janitor, but a father and brother fighting every day. Tears welled up in Chloe's eyes too. The wall she had built around herself cracked, letting in something real and soft. That day marked a change, not just for Chloe, but for the whole school. One small act of kindness started to build a bridge between worlds that had seemed so far apart before. After that day, Chloe wasn't the same girl anymore. The laughter that once came from putting others down slowly faded. Instead, she started to listen more and judge less. She smiled kindly at students she hadn't noticed before, and even helped out when she saw someone struggling. The popular girl who once looked down on others now showed a quiet strength, one that came from understanding and humility. At school, the change didn't go unnoticed. Other students began to see Mr. Johnson differently too. They stopped whispering and started talking openly about his hard work and the challenges he faced. Slowly, the cafeteria and hallways felt warmer, more connected. People began to care, and the walls between us and them started to come down. Emily and Chloe became unlikely friends, brought together by a simple act of kindness that grew into something bigger. Together, they reminded everyone that behind every person is a story, one worth listening to, one that can teach us to be better. The story of the janitor's simple lunch wasn't just about food, it was about love, sacrifice, and the strength it takes to keep going when life is hard. It was about how quick judgments can hurt, and how understanding can heal. In the end, Chloe learned that true power isn't in making others feel small, it's in lifting them up. And sometimes, the smallest kindness can change a life, including your own. The school felt different now, hopeful, gentle, and full of the kind of respect that grows when people truly see each other. And that simple lunch, once mocked, became a symbol of something much greater, the heart behind the story.